when you turn it on, you just want it to go to argon beam snare. The argon beam snare means it's going to be set up for this exact device. There's two parts to it, come in little separate bags. One is the actual probe itself, one is the gas line. Because this is hooked in both cautery and gas up to it, you need both. You need one connection going from the cautery portion, one connection going from the gas portion. The gas line is really just a simple lure lock into there, and then this is going to plug right into the bottom of the probe. And this is going to put the gas into the probe, and then the top part, you're just going to take the monopolar active cord, and you're going to plug the monopolar active cord into the top part like that, and it's going to go in and make a little snapping sound. That means it's connected properly.
Excuse me, can you take a picture of them?
Sure. Right, so now you have your electricity going in, you have your gas going in, which is, you need both components to create your argon. The yellow pedal is going to work the snare portion. The snare portion, if they need to resect anything, you can open and close the snare and use the yellow pedal to apply energy to it. And then once this is retracted, now you can hit the blue pedal for your argon beam. Once you do have the probe hooked up, you can hit the purge button. Purge button, you get to feel the gas kind of come out. It comes out at 5 liters per minute. And that just kind of fills the catheter with gas. That way, once they hit the blue pedal, it's going to ignite right away. And you know how they're beating. If during the procedure they want to increase the wattage, once they hit the pedal, you see this will light up. You can actually just move this. This will increase the wattage or decrease the wattage. If you haven't hit the pedal yet, you can just hit this little blue button there. It'll highlight it, and then now you can adjust it. They may want to adjust the flow rate. The flow rate is going to be this 0.4 right here, and that's based on liters per minute. That's the amount of gas that's coming out of the probe. To adjust that, if you just keep hitting this blue button, you'll highlight that, and now you can adjust that. 0.4
what is that
probably standard for pulmonary. You could go up to like 0.6 or 0.8 if you need to.
What is that again?
Liters per minute is the flow rate of the argon gas.
Okay.
So you have two main kind of outputs here. You have your energy output, which is 25 watts, and your gas output, which right now is 0.4 liters per minute. That should be okay. You can always increase it to 0.6 or 0.8. It should be enough. That's if you don't get a good beam at all, you can increase it and have a little bit more gas and get hopefully a little bit better beam out of this. This is typically going to be used for more therapeutic cases where they actually do want to resect. We do have another probe here. Any other questions about this before I show you the other probe? All right. Disconnect once you're done. This is all disposable, so all of this would just get disconnected, and this entire thing would just get thrown away. We also have a probe that is this is designed for a typical pulmonary procedure. This could be used in a regular bronchoscope because it's got the 1.8 millimeter diameter, so it'll go down the smaller channel. And this, you're going to have to actually change the setting on here to pulmonary argon. You do that by hitting the menu button, move this down, highlight pulmonary argon. And as you see now, this is going to go on the second row. The second row means it is going to be worked by this cord right here. The last one is on the top row, so it's being worked by this monopolar active cord.
It says it on there? Does it say it on there?
It does not, no.
Okay.
So this is where you'll have to know if you have pulmonary argon, it's going to it's basically everything works in kind of a row fashion. So if once you hit the thing, it's on the top row, it's going to work with this. If it's on this row, it's going to work with this one.
Oh, okay.
So what you would do now is you would take the other side of the cord. You have your electricity coming in through here. Your gas would come through this one. You would just twist that in here. It's a basic lure lock. And now this would plug right into here. And now this is hooked up. You're going to purge it.
Can I get that picture? Regular pulmonary.
And this is probably the most This would typically be used most often, yeah. Unless the physician just really likes that one, but usually in pulmonary this is used 90% of
So
the
it's
time.
either or, either one of those.
You can use either one. This one usually just works better because it can go down any scope. It's also a little bit smaller probe, so it can be manipulated a little bit better in the trachea. Just like the other settings on here, you have your wattage, and then you have your flow rate. And these can be adjusted accordingly based on what the physician wants to do. When you're done with this, you just pull this off. This is disposable. This you can just wipe down, just like you would the monopolar active cord, and you're done. There should be, in each box of probes, there's enough of these filters for every procedure, so these can be taken off. You can throw them away after every procedure and put a new one on.
Those come with the probe?
Yeah, they're in the box with the probes.
Okay.
Mhm.
I have a question.
Sure.
I noticed that red light indicators keep blinking.
Yes, so
you
this is
don't
a
need
monopolar procedure.
Okay.
So you're going to take your return electrode, the patient pad,
So we need that
and
pads.
plug it right in there. Yes,
Okay,
all argon
okay,
procedures
okay.
are monopolar, so you do need a
so we
return
need pads.
electrode.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter whichever, could be, to use the ConMed ones or like 3M or Valley Lab or
Okay.
whichever ones you guys use
Okay,
should work
slow,
fine
sure.
on here. You plug it right into here, and this indicator up top is going to tell you how well it's connected to the patient.
So that becomes green too. If you have a
Yes,
good
so this is going
contact.
to become green. It will not work unless the pad is hooked up.
Right.
Now, once the pad is hooked up, if they have it on the table and they kind of get moved around and the pad starts peeling off a bit,
Mhm.
you'll see that right here because this shows you how well it's attached to the patient.
Okay.
And if once it hits the yellow, it's going to give you a warning light.
Yeah.
Once it hits the red, which means it's not connected enough to do the procedure, then it won't activate and you'll get a warning signal that comes up when
Right.
you're trying to activate it. It'll actually give you this right here. So no activation due to neutral electrode error.
Okay.
So it really is pretty foolproof there. It won't activate unless the pad is hooked up properly.
Any other troubleshooting?
No, basic troubleshooting. I mean, at 90% of the time if there's an issue, it's somebody went in the back and turned off the argon tank. So that's always the first thing you check. And you would see, because it would show empty, you have your argon tank right here. It tells you exactly how much gas is in it. Once it comes up with an error, it says no argon. It's usually just somebody turned off the gas in the back.
Is there any way that we can find out if the probe is something wrong with the probe or something? If,
Sorry, say that again?
is there any indication if there's something wrong with the probe while you're using it?
Something's wrong with the probe?
Yeah,
There
just in case.
There really shouldn't be. The only thing that could happen is it could get clogged. Like if it's a long case, and then a lot of times you can actually pull it out, and then once you hit the purge, it should kind of spit anything out that's on there.
Okay.
Usually that would only happen if it's a pretty long case and they've been using it for a while, but we have seen it happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes if it gets a lot of gunk on the end, you can pull it out and just kind of clean it off with your fingers, and then clean out with gauze or something like that, and then
Okay. But typically, if that happens, it's not working. There's no argon coming out. It does.
Change the
clog.
probe.
Yeah.
How much the probe?
How much is it?
Yeah.
I think they're right around $200, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
So low price.
Mhm.
Do you know whose doctor is using that machine?
I don't.
No. Okay.
This one is in the. So is there one?
Weinberg.
Is Weinberg OR?
So just clean it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Kaufman. Mostly airway, right? Pulmonary. Kaufman, right? Dr. Kaufman.
Yeah, this would just be used in pulmonary procedures or GI procedures. This is what this machine is for. It's not used in any other types of OR procedures. This is designed for just to go down scopes. Any questions? Any issues that you guys have had with it in the past?
No,
Stuff being thrown in there.
What's that?
user,
User error?
they break the filter in here. That's
Okay.
about it.
That actually is something that if you do leave the filter in, you're rolling it around, it bashes up against something, it could break. That's why we always recommend that after the procedure,
Take it
take it
off.
off. Throw it away, because it is disposable, and There is one for every probe that comes in the box.
Okay.